Hi guys, so today let's talk about why modern women hate the concept of men going their own way. Why is it that these women have a problem with men deciding to live their lives as per their requirements and desires? Let's find out. Feminists in particular, and women in general, tell society what they want from us guys, but they usually get unhappy when we provide it to them exactly as they want it. You've undoubtedly seen this, and it defies reason since it's not necessarily a sign that a man is looking for something new when he asks a woman for something extremely specific and she effectively gives it to him. When feminists claim to desire equality, they don't mean it. They really want a man to listen to them when they want him to face them. Their ultimate goal is to instigate amusing gender conflict in society. So when a woman requests that a strange insistent man leave her alone and that only attractive men in general approach her in life, it's not precisely what she wants. In order to successfully put the beta men in the friend zone and take advantage of them in other ways, such as financially or emotionally, she still wants them to communicate with her. Theoretically, feminists who support gender equality should be ecstatic about men having the freedom to make their own decisions. It's just like a group of guys that treat women with the same level of disrespect as women often treat men. Unfortunately, though, they choose high-quality outcomes rather than particularly high accountability. Obtaining the heart and mind of a guy who works harder than they do and provides for them throughout his life is the only way to secure a high-quality outcome. Men are expected to perform greater tasks while providing women with a larger share of the rewards. Now that some males have understood this and are backing off, it is tough for the women who are fighting for equality. Men will be able to tell when they are being exploited if they are told that they are required because they are expected to do far more than their share and provide women with at least half of the wealth. In spite of what women claim, if men treat women equally, more men would go their own way, which is not something that women are not happy about either. The feminists and other MGTOW critics are not on our side because if they were, women would support males who choose to live alone, and our numbers would keep increasing. My theory is that when a woman says a woman needs a guy like a fish needs a bicycle, she is bluffing and putting on her best poker face in hopes that men would mistake the bad hand that nature has given her for the better hand and believe that women genuinely have it. The majority of women are nothing more than bluffing gamblers seeking to win a man's affection. If the man points out the awful hand that she's been dealt, she will basically make him feel guilty for doing that and humiliate him for it. They will frequently be cast aside if the male continues on calling the woman's bluff despite her embarrassment. Relationships operate in this manner, but in our culture as a whole, women are bluffing and claiming to not need men, and guess what? Men are also saying things like that. Women are labeling MGTOW men as women haters and condemning us when in reality all we're concerned with is the preservation of our identities and peace. We're essentially calling women's bluff by going their own way. Women will never be in favor of us making our own decisions because they depend on us for survival. If they don't, society collapses and they lose everything. However, if they did, we would see them for what they are actually, toddlers acting like grown-ups. You are not automatically a man just because you put on a pair of pants, sweetheart. The only possible explanation for girls who like each other romantically living together and working is that women are allowed to enter the workforce and generate enough wealth to support themselves. For the longest period of time, you weren't even permitted to wear pants, but now you actually want men in skirts chopping their balls off using the transgender bathrooms. Since it's unlikely that women built their houses or founded the businesses or government organizations that the majority of these women work for, there aren't actually any women going their own way. When all the labor has been done for them and the resources are in their possession, only then women can try to go their own way. They dislike MGTOW because the labor and resources remain in the hands of males, which explains why. Because the MGTOW movement prevents them from controlling the resources, they criticize it. And once more, women are unable to say it out loud since doing so would expose their incapacity and show that they in fact require males a lot more than they admit. Lesbians would vanish overnight if women weren't permitted to work in the workforce as they were in the 20th century, because they would all be looking for husbands to support them. Instead of their intimacy, they would be more concerned with how much money they were spending on their lifestyle. They wouldn't be thinking about being physical at all. Only in the middle to late 20th century did women have access to the lesbian lifestyle. I believe that as more and more men go their separate ways, accumulating their own riches and living their own lives, women will become more and more reliant on credit and the government to survive. Because it's a societal norm, women frequently say one thing while really meaning another. They can't seem to approach anything in life directly, thus it's likely part of their biology as well. They aren't as literal as men are, but they are always attempting to enter our thoughts through our back doors. Because we have a variety of goals to pursue in the actual world, men cannot afford to be overly literal. Women, on the other hand, can't afford to be upfront and sly because if something goes wrong, and we know what they're up to, where they stand on any particular topic, or their genuine motives are obvious. They don't want us to truly place the responsibility on them because women are physically and emotionally weaker. Women who were more successful at influencing males throughout history pass on their genes to subsequent generations. They despise MGTOW because it contradicts what they say, and they are angry with us because we took their words literally rather than just taking them as a test and placing them in a proper position. There are now two distinct types of males. The first is the weak guys who cater to women's every need, and the second type is the blue pills which seek to satisfy women in order to be intimate with them and find true love. They take women's wishes seriously. Then there are the guys who go their own way and also take women's claims that they don't need men seriously. They argue that if this is the case, receiving intimacy and taking all the risks are no longer sufficient reasons for a man to remain in a relationship. Men used to experience less agony and suffering when they died in the war, at least in the past. However, nowadays, a man who gets divorced and loses his house, children, wife, and sense of purpose is in a far worse situation than a man who dies on the battleground. Women simply want us to accept the bait and fight them in a staged game. Love is our battleground. Projecting vulnerability gives women power because it encourages men to step up, get engaged, and take care of them. However, as women project power more and more, males will go their own way and seek out other motivations for living in addition to defending women. Why should we still be here if women don't require our protection? Women want men to remain by their side, take care of them, and listen to their issues, but they also want men to believe that they are not dependent on them. With the promise of freedom from males, feminism has devastated the majority of Western women. Women need males more than they realize because they are unhappy at work and are turning into crazy, lonesome cat ladies, but they won't confess it as long as it is taboo to do so. In the future decades, as our culture gets more conservative, they will eventually come to recognize it. Then, rather than saying they need males because it's true, women will claim they do because it's fashionable to do so. When ladies scream out for males to assist them, a lot of men will genuinely respond and come to their aid, restoring the supposedly traditional connection. Once they appeal to men to assist them, neo-traditionalism will make a comeback. Then it's likely that many men will respond to their appeals and come to assist them. In exchange, they'll receive conventional relationships, and a new variety of neo-traditionalism will manifest itself. Women will suddenly claim to care about males in this scenario, thereby forcing men back to the negotiating table. Because the men's rights movement aims to reunite men and women in a conventional relationship, there are numerous traditions within it. That is likely another reason why the men's rights movement despises MGTOW 2.0. It not only educates men about the nature of women, but also informs them that they have no chance of victory. Because they are mostly married and serving as white knights for the women in their lives, males in the men's rights movement sometimes struggle to adequately protect men. Their attention is first dispersed and not concentrated in one spot. But with MGTOW, we speak the truth and are not frightened of what others may say, even if they are liberal lunatics. Because we won't fit neatly into the genocentrism box that males are meant to fit in. Feminists despise us. You may either choose to be a conservative man or a man who acts like a feminist. Feminists only want to give males those two options since women benefit regardless of what they choose. We decide against selecting either option because we understand that both are genocentric and that there is no way to win in either case. Instead, we choose to remove ourselves from the situation by walking away. The issue is that there is no formula that predicts when males will stop talking to women and walk away. The feminists secretly know this, but they are afraid to admit it for fear of frightening away all the eager slaves they now have. Instead, they just criticize guys who go their own way, branding us gay because we aren't interested in becoming a woman's slave. They also accuse us of being misogynists in the hope that by doing so, we would all lose our ability to interact with women. They want us to worry about losing our ability to have access to our intimate selves. They despise us additionally because we truly inform other males about the realities of modern life. They want us to cease spreading the information about the hidden yaya pants sisterhood, but they can't say it out loud for fear of offending us. So instead of doing their dirty job themselves, they hire men's rights advocates and other handy blue pill fools. However, it's backfiring because the men's rights movement has mostly turned into a site where guys learn about the problems that men face in our society, and then they just go on to MGTOW. People frequently comment on this channel, praising MGTOW for being the masculine embodiment of feminism. However, I always have to correct them by pointing out that males who are going their own way feel that there should be true equality between men and women, whereas feminists seem to desire true equality but truly want female dominance. Even while it promotes true equality, men's independence occasionally runs counter to their ideals of feminism and supremacy. We must play the game and adhere to their rules in order for them to be superior. They want subjects, but we've made the decision to exile ourselves. If feminists continue to destroy our societies by bringing in substantial conservative populations, the males who make a difference will eventually leave the countries where they are appreciated. Men who want to go their own way tend to shun women and refrain from playing. Instead, we make the decision to stay in the filthy liberal cities. By doing so, we increase our fortune and alienate the ladies who see what they can't have and are often upset about it. They get more irate as a result. What I'm trying to imply, I guess, is that feminists want what men have, and if men aren't willing to give it to them freely, then they will be unable to seize our resources with their talents. Thanks for tuning in. Let's hear what you have to say about all of this in the comments. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Until next time.